Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be giving my recap of this year's Super Bowl between the Seattle Seahawks against the New England Patriots. This was a game that, to some would be boring. Fuck. To some, it would be boring. But to me, this game was so fun and hilarious. I was just the whole game being like, when is shit gonna start? Bad Bunny got the first touchdown in the fucking Super Bowl, and he was just a performer. Like that's this was a funny ass game because there wasn't really a game until the fourth quarter. There was nothing going on until the fourth quarter. It was 12-0 going into the fourth quarter. There was jack shit going on. It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing at it. It was a fun game, even though the game wasn't close at all. We get to why it wasn't close at all. But yeah, it was hilarious to me. I guess we'll start from the first quarter. In the first quarter, it went kind of the way I thought. Where they were just like no one could start anything, and you saw the scores 3-0. There was nothing going on for the first 15 minutes except, well, I guess the first drive the Seahawks got a field goal, but other than that, there was not much offensively from the Seahawks. They couldn't really get much going on the offense. And then the Patriots, they did jack shit in that first quarter as well, but they also did jack shit all game. So, so, but yeah, I'm recording this right after the game, so I don't know who won the MVP award. I'd assume it was Kenneth Walker, though. I'd assume Kenneth Walker got the MVP award just because he was the lone good thing, basically, offensively between both of these teams. He he may have not scored the touchdown in this game for the Seahawks offensively, but he is the reason why that offense even did anything in that game. Because I mean, 135 rushing yards, I think 26 receiving yards. So what's that? Fucking 150, 161 total yards on like I want to say 30 touches, which is great. It's phenomenal. MVP. I'm not exactly sure who's gonna win. I'm not exactly sure if he won it yet. They're still in the midst of doing the whole celebration thing after the game. But in reality, this game was over when it was 12-0. Now you may think, how was it over? The Patriots scored 13 points. What could make you say the game was over when it was 12-0? Buddy, that game was never close. It was 12-0, and I am like, this isn't gonna be a close game. 12-0 would have been a blowout. Going into the fourth quarter, 12-0 would have been a blowout. Um, fuck, it was 19-0 at one point, and that's when I was like, all right, this game's over. Chop it up. The Patriots aren't good enough to beat Seattle, but in reality, really no one was. I know they have 3 losses, but no one was really that great when it came to figuring Seattle's defense out. And the Patriots weren't even able to figure out really the Broncos defense, the Texans defense, or the Chargers defense, which I know they're all like top 6 defenses in the league. But Seattle is the best defense in the league. The Dark Side, their nickname that they gave themselves. Um, they're the best defense in the league. And it's because they have the best defensive mind, which is Mike McDonald. Which congratulations on winning your first Super Bowl ring in your first attempt in the Super Bowl, in your first playoff run as a head coach, and in your second season as the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks. You just won a Super Bowl ring in 2 years. You're only 38 years old. You have at least 2 more decades of being a head coach, so long as you continue to have this amount of success. Which I think you will be able to have that amount of success just based on the fact that your defense is still pretty young. Um, you have one of the better receivers in the league in JSN, and not to to be honest, you are the smartest defensive mind in the league, so that should get you far enough in figuring out what scheme you need to put up when it comes to the players you currently have, and also who do you want to be on your team when it comes to players to fit the scheme you want to have for your defense. Because you saw this year, it was perfect. It was magnificent. There was really only like two teams that kind of figured you out, which was the Bucks. Which Baker Mayfield, how good is Baker Mayfield? He put up 38 points on the Seattle Seahawks defense. How good is Baker Mayfield for putting up 38 points? And then the other team was the Rams, which put up 37 points on Thursday Night Football, I think in like week 16. And then 27 2 weeks ago. Both of those, though, they lost. In the Rams win against the Seahawks, they put up like what, 22 points? They played worse in their win than they did in their two losses, which also shows that the Seahawks offense can perform when needed. They didn't need to perform today because I'll get to the Patriots. Believe me, I will get to the very much bad of the Patriots and the singular good of the Patriots. But talking with the Seahawks still, um, I really hope they give the MVP award to Kenneth Walker because he absolutely deserves it. There was no man better on that field except possibly one, which I'll get to later on. Than Kenneth Walker. He was fantastic. It's really funny because like the Seahawks they didn't want to keep Kenneth Walker throughout the whole season. They're like, all right, we're gonna give Zach Charbonnet more and more carries just so like he becomes our guy next season because we don't want Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is causing problems within the locker room. We just don't want him to be a part of our team next season. And with Zach Charbonnet getting hurt in this postseason run, uh, Kenneth Walker has just shown that, like, hey, I am that guy, and I should have been that guy all season. He got about 150 yards against the Niners, 120, I want to say, against the Rams, and as you see, 135 in the big game. Um, Congratulations to Kenneth Walker. If I'm Seattle, I have to bring Kenneth Walker back in. If I don't bring in Kenneth Walker, what the fuck am I doing? He's the reason your offense was able to continually move the ball. Um, he was phenomenal in this game. I'd be surprised if he goes anywhere else. And if he does go anywhere else, Kenneth Walker, you just earned a fat ass contract for how you played in this postseason run. Because when it comes to when it matters most, you need somebody to perform at their peak. And that is what we saw from this 3 game stretch from Kenneth Walker. Congratulations. You just made you and your family so much money. Hats off to you. Or maybe not because you are bald and you might want to keep your head cold. So maybe keep that hat or beanie on there. But congratulations on a great 3 game stretch from Seattle when it comes to defense. They played really great in those 2 games. I'm not going to say they played great against the Rams because the Rams were able to figure out the scheme for the most part, which just how good is Sean McVay's brain when it comes to the offense. He was the only guy to figure out Mike McDonald's game plan twice. Obviously, the Bucks didn't play them again because they were not good enough after the fact. And then the Niners, they may have won the first game, but didn't fully figure them out. Whereas Sean McVay and the Rams figured them out. The only thing I will say about that is if you want to have a close game with this defense from Seattle, what are you going to need? You're going to need the literal MVP of the season this year, Matthew Stafford, who is a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer. And you're going to need the best wide receiver duo in Puka Nacua, who came second in Offensive Player of the Year, and Devontae Adams, who is another Hall of Famer when he retires. That's what you need in order for you to play a close game against Seattle. And even in saying that, they lost 2 out of the 3 games that they played against Seattle, that being the Rams. This was a great team. Seattle was just phenomenal. Seattle was phenomenal. They kind of slid under the radar for the most part, just because, well, we'll see. It's Seattle. They weren't the flashy team, you know. Especially when it comes to like going into the season, they were supposed to be about 9-8, kind of the same that they were last year. Um, Sam Darnold wasn't supposed to be, I guess, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He wasn't supposed to be that. How dumb are the Vikings for getting rid of Sam Darnold, who is now the guy? I mean, sorry about that. How dumb are the Vikings for getting rid of Sam Darnold? Sorry, I just burped. I just had a lot of fucking food. I'm fucking full. But the Vikings are dumb as fuck for taking Sam Darnold away from that team. I understand he had those two really bad games against the Lions and the Viking and the Rams. And this isn't even one of those like hindsight is 2020 because it's not even like JJ McCarthy was good at college. You have a guy who got 35 touchdowns for you and you're going to let him go. And what does he do? He becomes the Super Bowl winning quarterback the next season. Justin Kenneth Walker did win the MVP award of the Super Bowl. Congratulations to him. He absolutely deserves it. I can't speak highly enough about how he played in this postseason run. Um, Congrats to him. All love. You know what I mean? You may have ruined my team's chances in this postseason run, but you played very well, and that's what you deserve when you play very well is to get the win and to get accolades that should go to you. All right, enough of the glaze with Seattle and their season. Let's talk about the New England Patriots. I don't know why the fuck I said New York. The New England Patriots. 2 words: bona fide ass. That was not good. They put up 13 points. They were all in the fourth quarter. I'm gonna start with the good. I'm gonna start with the good of the New England Patriots today. I'm gonna start with the good. There's not a lot of it, but it is one singular player, and that let's say this: it was 29-13, right? This game could have easily been 43-13 if it wasn't for one singular guy. And he deserves all the praise in the world for how he performed today, even though his team was garbage today. Christian Gonzalez is getting fucking paid this offseason. He was the reason that the game was 12-0 at one point because of the two major pass deflections that he had in this game. That being the Sam Darnold throw to Rashid Shaheed, which it looked like Gonzalez got beat by Shaheed on a go ball where the safety was not able to catch up with them. And Gonzo fucking leaps in the air and gets just enough touch on that football for it to be an incomplete pass. That is possibly that's a 7-point swing there. I understand this game was not close at all looking at the score, but it could have been so much worse because that's 7 points off the board because no one's catching Shaheed if he catches that ball because that ball was also a perfect ball from Sam Darnold. And then to end the half, I believe, against Jackson Smith and Jigba, he kind of got beat again by JSN going at, I think, the goal line, where if JSN catches the ball, it's a touchdown. Christian Gonzalez, once again, gets a pass deflection that leads to Seattle having to get 3 points. That is another touchdown that he saved and made sure that said, no, it's only going to be 3 points this drive. He is the MVP when it comes to making this game seem close. Because looking at the score, the game wasn't. But my oh my, did he really have a game? And he's the reason why this game was somewhat close. He's the reason why this game was only 12-0 going into the fourth. Because it could have been 26-0, and at that point, that game is over. Who cares? Um, yeah, Christian Gonzalez, I can't think highly enough of you. I thought you were very good in your rookie year. I mean, second and third year, you have been phenomenal. You are a top 3 corner in the league without a doubt. And yeah, you are phenomenal. Um, I want to say congrats, but your team didn't win. I guess good job on or great effort. You played the best on your team, and it was nowhere near close. There was no one close to you when it comes to your team. I mean, outside of really you, I guess, in the secondary, the defense played very well for 3 quarters. But at some point, if you're constantly on the field, you're gonna get tired. And you saw that 17 points by Seattle. They simply got tired from being on the field so long. Um, but yeah, congrats to Gonzo. Love you, man. All right, that's enough of the good part though, because that's all there was good when it comes to the Patriots. Um, this is gonna be a long ass video. But let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about the bad of New England. And I'm gonna have to sadly start this with Drake May. I love Drake May. Drake May is one of my more favorite players, and it's not even really fully because of his like skill wise or like his talent. Even though he is very talented, and I do believe he will be a very good quarterback. It's like if you watch the UFC, liking Renato Marcano is like the same way of liking Drake May, where it's like they are good. They are good at what they do. They are good at what they do. They aren't the best, but they just bring in so much memes from the fan base that like how can you not go with them? Like Moicano has memes of like the craziest thing ever. You know, his post fight speeches are phenomenal. And I think that it's the same way with Drake May and his wife and Michael May, where it's just like it's hard not to like them. You know, you know what I mean? I will say that also liking Drake May Lover on IG, I smoked that pack a little bit. You know, I was sipping on that Kool-Aid. But Drake May is a very good quarterback. Um, is he elite yet? No. Did he play well in this postseason run? Absolutely not. He was not the reason the team made it to the Super Bowl. And looking back at it, this wasn't really a Super Bowl quality team. Most people knew that. I included knew that. That's why I picked Seattle to win this. Um, if Denver was healthy and had Bo Nix, I thought Denver was going to win that game. But you play who you play, and they played the best team in the league. And when you're like the 8th or ninth best team in the league when it comes to like, I guess, talent, and you're going against the number 1 team, it usually shows. Because you may not think there's a huge like difference between the number 1 team on talent versus like the number 6, but there really is. There really is a great level of difference of skill. And if you're going against that team who is just that much better than you skill wise and talent wise, you're going to need to force mistakes. And simply put, the Patriots were the ones that made the mistake, which made it even harder for them to try to win this battle against Seattle. Which is why, ooh, look at that little bar there I just made, dude. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna fucking go at rapping. But just I'm fucking stupid. But what was I going with? What fucking stupid ass lost what was I gonna say? Shit, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Uh fuck. What was I gonna say? Fuck. Oh yeah, about the forcing mistakes. They didn't force mistakes. The Seahawks played a very clean game where they weren't really like in any trouble at all throughout this game. Even when it seemed like the Patriots were having a run, which by the way, their run was just scoring 1 touchdown and making it 19-7. But it was fun. It was fun because Drake May was actually starting to do shit. And what does he do, dude? He just gives the fucking Seahawks secondary a cookie. Just throws it right to them, and of course he catches it. That's what you're supposed. If you're in the NFL, I don't care what side of the ball you are on. If someone throws a ball straight at you and you know it's going to you, you're going to catch the ball, and that's what happened. That was Drake Maye's first interception. I'm trying to think about what the second one was. I'm not remembering what it was. I'm blanking on that second one, unless the it might have been the fumble that wasn't actually a fumble, but instead someone caught it and they took it in for a pick six instead of a fumble six. It might have been that where it was a pick six, but it looked like a fumble just because the ball went backwards. But maybe they caught the ball and got a pick six to make it 29-7. That's probably what it was. Damn. All right. But yeah, Drake Maye was hesitant. He got sacked, I think, 22 times in 4 games, the most in NFL history in the postseason. They couldn't get him comfortable at all. I just see through the fact that they didn't score until the fucking fourth quarter. But yeah, Josh McDaniels couldn't bring in any confidence to Drake Maye. Drake Maye was very inaccurate in this game. He held the ball much longer than he probably should have. The secondary of Seattle clamped up on the receivers from the Patriots, which led to Drake Maye being very hesitant and not really trusting his receivers seemingly. And another thing was Will Campbell. What the fuck was that? Will Campbell, what the fuck was that? Genuinely, what the fuck was that, dude? Actual ass, dude. Liquid ass. That performance was. Come on. Fuck. That was terrible from you guys, dude. I can't believe you. Genuinely ass. I made a post on IG. I'll probably link my IG. I probably should have done it a long time ago. I have a meme page. The memes aren't very good. This is a plug. The memes are very shit, but I like it. You know, fuck you guys. I like it. Okay. I don't care if you don't like it. It makes me laugh. That's what matters. And I made a post about Will Campbell. I'm not gonna say it in this video because it will get me in trouble. You know what I mean? I won't say it, but genuinely, he was really shit in this game. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm using that small mic again. So if I'm doing this a lot, or like you can hear me up here, but you can't hear me over there, I would talk with my fucking hands. I'm a hands person. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I'm just rambling right now. This video's going on way too long. I probably should have stopped this video 10 minutes ago, but I'm gonna keep talking because I'm mad right now. um, but yeah, I mean, Will Campbell, a penalty, constantly got beat, which is like, yeah, you're a rookie left tackle. That makes sense for you to get beat. It just sucks that you got beat in the postseason. I understand he's coming off an injury. You know, Bake missed day 25 when Drake Maye said, "Will get better soon, Campbell." Will simply did not get better soon enough, at least. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying he's had a rough stretch in this postseason run where he's simply getting outmanned and dominated in this postseason. And today was no different. He got simply outmanned. It's part of the reason why Drake Maye struggled was because he couldn't trust his blind side. And the times that he did trust his blind side, what happened? He got fucking decked because Will Campbell was not able to keep him safe. Basically, that whole O line. I don't want to say it was the O line was bad because that's diminishing Seattle's defense, which is phenomenal. I have been saying that all year to people that I talk to that they are kind of the next Legion of Boom. People have been telling me no, they are not. They're not on that level, and I think the difference and the reason why it's like people are saying that is because the Legion of Boom simply had more aura when it comes to their players. Richard Sherman's a Hall of Famer. Cam Chancellor already is a Hall of Famer. Earl Thomas probably should be a Hall of Famer. Um, they had like the main staples when I feel like the Legion of Boom had that peak when they beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl, and they're like, yeah, this is the fucking best defense in the league. It's not close. It's phenomenal. And then the next year against the Patriots, but they had like a year prior to that in 2012 where it was like the intro stage of Legion of Boom, where they weren't talked about as much until they won that ring. And the problem is, I think that same thing's happening with the dark side, which is what the Seahawks are called now defensively, the dark side. And I feel like they it's their first year of the dark side, so people aren't seeing it as like this all-time great defense because it's only year one. Whereas I feel like if they do it again next year, people are going to be like, yeah, this is one of the greatest defenses of all time because you have the 85 Bears, the 2000 Ravens, the Legion of Boom, and then the no fly zone in 2015 with the Broncos. And I think this team defensively can get back there to that level of those other four teams. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do. So that's why I don't want to say that the Patriots O line was the reason that Drake May kept getting hit, because at some point the O line was doing a little bit better, and they were still getting beat up by the Seahawks defensive line. Um, Mike McDonald was perfect when it comes to when to scheme up blitzes. He doesn't do it a lot, but when he did it in this game, it was perfect, and it always got to Drake May. Um, which is another problem with kind of Drake May. He wasn't able to fully read the defenses in time, both pre-play and during the play. He wasn't able to read the defense until he just started slinging the rock, which was the one good thing about Drake May today, is that at some point he just gave up trying to be smart and just threw the rock. And you saw back-to-back plays to Matt Collins when they were both perfect throws, and after that, he went back to trying to be smart again, which I'm not saying he isn't a smart quarterback. I'm just saying sometimes you're outthinking yourself when you don't need to. Simply just go out there and play the game that you know and love, because that's what you've been doing your whole career. Don't try to make this harder on yourself by trying to outsmart your opponent when your opponent themselves probably aren't trying to outsmart you. They're just trying to do their job and trying to do what they know what they should be doing. And I think that was a struggle with Drake May in this game, where he was trying to do too much when he was really only needed to do, I don't want to say the bare minimum, but he missed a lot of wide open throws where it's like, hey man, relax a little bit. You know what I mean? You're too tense. Relax a little bit. You've made that throw in practice all season. Relax a little bit. Calm down. Stop trying to be too hard on yourself. The pressure was getting to him. He didn't show it, but you could see it in his play. He was very tense that whole game. Um, and in those two throws he made to Matt Collins, he seemed calm. He he was eased down. He eased it. You know what I mean? And he just seemed like he started playing. And I think the throw that he made, that was the first interception, he kind of got back to that whole tenseness where he's like, all right, this game matters a lot more now. This game's close. We need this drive. And he just throws a really bad pass where it's, if Drake May was more calm, I'm gonna turn into Justin Herbert's if man. If he was just more calm during that throw and actually read that where the ball should have been going, um it could have been different. But so that's one thing, is the fact that the O line was really bad. Drake May performed really bad. Another stats say 295 passing yards. Those were basically all garbage time passing yards, though. Um, he led the team in rushing yards, which is not what you want from your quarterback, especially when they aren't like Lamar Jackson, who's like going to get 1,000 yards if he's healthy. Um, they weren't able to bring in Trevion Henderson or Ramondre Stevenson that kind of help um, Drake May get calm, because you got to realize he is a 23-year-old who is still young. Um, I think he's the second youngest quarterback to get to the Super Bowl ever, behind Dan Marino. And we saw what happened with Dan Marino after that. He couldn't get back to the big game. Not saying that's going to happen with Drake May, but when you get a chance, you can't miss it. And if you do, um, you're not always going to get back there. And I think that's going to be something that's it's going to be hard to swallow for both all the Patriots players, including Drake May, Mike Vrabel as well, and the head coaching staff. It's going to be a hard pill to swallow, knowing that, hey, this could have been our chance. There's no Mahomes. We didn't have to play Lamar Jackson. We didn't have to play the Bills a third time. This was our chance, and we weren't able to fully succeed our goals. Um, I know that throughout the year you still have mini goals. Where it's like, hey, we're gonna win this week. Hey, we're gonna win 2 in a row. Um, let's win this big game, and they were able to do that for the most part. The Patriots were, but at the end of the day, what is every team's goal in the league? It's to play in the big game and win the big game. And the Patriots did half of that, and they gotta accept that. They gotta accept the fact that they might not be back here, um, and that's gonna be a hard pill to swallow. There's been a lot of teams that made it there and won. A lot of great all-time players that made it there, won it, and then they didn't make it there again. You saw Aaron Rodgers won it, never made it back there. Drew Brees won it, never made it back there. It's just one of those things where it's a hard pill to swallow, knowing that you lost the big game, the thing that you've gone for your whole career, the main goal. I don't want to say in your life, but the main goal in your profession was to get to this game and win it, and you were not able to, and that's going to be something hard to swallow. Um, but if you accept it faster, it's going to be an easier ride back there. You know, you can't dwell on this loss. Take your time with it, but still understand the reasons why you lost. Get better at that um, day by day, and just hope for the next season that you figured out the reasons why you lost this game and try to improve on it throughout the next season as well, and so forth. But yeah, it was just a bad performance by the Patriots. A really, really shit performance. The Super Bowl wasn't close. It was kind of like last year where the Eagles just straight up dominated the Chiefs. Um, this was the same. It kind of felt like the Seahawks versus Niners, where the game was close. This is Week 18 I'm talking about, where the game's close, but like Seattle's dominating. It felt that way, and then the Patriots defense got tired, and it was just like, all right, we're gonna just dominate you now offensively, and that's how you get the score 29-13. Um, I thought this was cool though. I thought it was cool. Um, the Bad Bunny concert or halftime show. I'm not much of a Bad Bunny fan. That's just a personal preference. It was cool. It was all right. It's not my cup of tea, but not everything has to be your cup of tea. Sometimes your cup of tea might be someone's trash, and you got to accept that. And so it was cool though. I can appreciate it. I guess I'll say I can appreciate the performance itself. That's all I have when it comes to the halftime show, I guess. But yeah, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. This video is much longer than it probably should have been. I've been rambling the last, I think, half an hour. This is probably a 40-minute video. No, I'm like, this is a 40-minute video. Fuck. um, maybe a longer than 40-minute video. This is fucking. I'm still rambling right now, guys. This is a long as shit. Um, I think I'm gonna call it there. Congratulations, Seahawks, on a great performance. You won at Levi Stadium. Fuck you. But yeah, congratulations, Seahawks. You have bragging rights next year until someone beats you if you make it back to the playoffs, which I assume you guys will. Um, I don't think this would be a one and done kind of scenario. I do think Seattle will continue to be very well. You are going to lose Clint Kubiak probably to the Raiders, so you're going to have to figure out how to get that new offensive coordinator in, especially in a time frame when there's not a lot left. Um, but if this game showed you enough, they can win just defensively. Um, And as for the Patriots, you gotta do better. This was a very bad performance. Offensively, you've looked really bad against. I understand they are top 10 defenses, but you were really bad this postseason, and you have to improve on that. Next season, you're gonna play a lot more better competition, and that's gonna be the real test of whether or not you just played an easy schedule that brought you to the Super Bowl. Um, thank you guys for watching. If you watched this whole video, man, thank you. I was gonna do this one. There's this one guy on fucking YouTube on IG. He's like an old ass. He's like an unk that like reviews videos and shit. Now I'm just talking about shit that I like. This isn't even about the game anymore. The game's done. The game section of this video is done. Um, there's this guy like he like reviews food and like at the end of the video he's like off the hook. So if you're watching this video still, that means you're off the hook. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I want to have a video out tomorrow. I don't work tomorrow, so if I do make a video, it's probably going to be ranking the NFL QBs season, regular season, and postseason. Um, Probably do a tier list video of that tomorrow. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.